Podcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. Our special guest today is legendary broadcaster Sammy Chioda, also the owner of Sammy's Rockin' Sports Pub and Grill in Gallup, New Mexico. Sammy C, baby, wow, man, welcome to the show. What an honor it is to have you on.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's an honor being with you because of your dedication, commitment to the world of sports in our state of New Mexico, the land of enchantment. Just an honor, and I'm glad we caught up and reacquainted during the state softball tournament and baseball tournaments in Albuquerque, and just grateful to be with you today.
You know, Sammy, you've been in this business, and I was telling you that this morning. I've had a chance to work and fortunate to work with Henry Tafoya, with Bob Brown, with Scott Galletti, you know, with Robert Portnoy a little bit when I was a PA at UNM. Some heavyweights in the business, some great guys, right? Now, I looked at your resume, and you've been in the business for 50 years, and you've got an extensive resume. I told you, I talked to one of my friends who knows you from Gallup. He had the ABA Gallup Talons out there when he was out there in Gallup. And he says, yeah, Ed, people might know you in your region. The Sammys know around the state, around the country. So it's just, again, your resume is incredible. And I wanted to know, you know, you walked into a radio station when you were 14 years old, KYVA.
Correct.
When you're 14 years old, you walk in there and you convince them to put you on the radio, Sammy C show from Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. And you've been at it ever since. How did you get that done? Because I'm thinking at 14 years old, I'm like, you know, just finding myself, right? I don't know about that confidence. What was it that made you do that? And you got it done. You've been in the business ever since.
Well, you know, I started in '69, and I was brought up around music my entire life. My brother was a musician, terrific musician, still performing in Phoenix today. My parents were into music. Everybody was into music, and that's been, you know, really, and that's what kind of led to the opening of Sammy C's Rockin' Sports. I mean, that's universal language of love right there, man. Rockin' Sports. It's not debatable. It is debatable maybe to a degree, but it's non-controversial but fun. And so I started, you know, around music and really had a passion for it. One of the guys that worked at the radio station was a bass guitarist in my brother's band. His name is Ron Bosterman. And to this day, Ron is the one that is the one that coined me Sammy C for the radio. And that was in 1969, a long time ago. In fact, June 25th of 69, June 25th of this year marked my 53rd year starting up in the broadcast business. But that's what got me into it. And Bob Barnett, who's also, Ed, for those that maybe that have never really spent a lot of time with Bob. Bob was the play-by-play guy in Gallup for years. He is just a phenom, man. This guy is amazing, and he was great to be around and be brought into the fold with, and learned a lot from him. Learned a great deal of discipline in the business. A lot of people have come and gone. I kind of stuck with it, and you know, took the lumps with the good things, and I think that eventually pays off. You can't just keep moving and moving and moving. You know, you have to at some point just kind of anchor your roots down and take care of things from there. But Bob gave me the chance. He gave me the chance in 1969. I never forget. I came in and did a few shows at night, and then all of a sudden, one of our big jocks was taking a 2-week vacation, man, and he was in prime time every day, man. And I was asked to take his spot 3 or 4 weeks into the business, and I'm like, well, why not this other guy? Why not this other guy? So I jumped into it, man, and I loved it. And it's just been with me ever since. It's in my blood. I have no regrets. I've been blessed in my life with just a lot of great people. Been around a lot of great people. The career's been great. I came in at the tail end of pioneering of radio with the big turntables and all that stuff, and evolved into what we have right now with the technology. There's been so many steps along the way that I've seen come and go to get us to where we're at right now with digital radio and what have you. So it was fun. It was really good. It was a fulfilled career, if you would.
Bippity Bob Barnett. Now, I've got a quote from a former Gallup All-Star, John Message, who was an All-Star in baseball and basketball. And Bippity Bob Barnett, he told me was, started all the nicknames for the Gallup basketball, baseball. He still goes by Big John. Everyone still knows him as Big John. But he said, if one thing John Message said, if you said it, it was true because you knew the team. You were there. In other words, you knew the backgrounds of all the players. So he had a lot of respect for you. Great guy. He just has a world of respect for you. And I had to tell you that because John's been a good friend of mine for a long time. So I called him this morning, and he gave me that nice quote about you.
Well, he's a terrific guy. John's a great guy. Every once in a while, he still has family here, and he lives in California now, if I'm not mistaken. And every time he comes into town, we always connect somehow, some way, and we're able to catch up where we left off. And he was a tremendous athlete, by the way. He was a great athlete here in this community. Played great sports, and just honored to have had a closeness to him and the Message family. We always run into each other at church, and then other places around town.
Well, that was just a great story about Bippity Bob Barnett. When you find out the origins, Henry Tafoya did games here. He did more games here in Albuquerque with YFL and youth games that everybody recognizes that, and they'll see Henry and they'll say, "Hey, I remember when you did my game in Yaffle or Little League." He's done so many things here. So that's the connection you have to the community in Gallup. It must mean a lot. We wanted to ask you, Sammy, you and I talked about this the other day. We got some great pictures. We're going to get them up for our viewers that you sent us about Sammy C's. How did you come out of the pandemic? You mentioned to me a couple weeks ago, it's been a little bit slow, but this past weekend with UFC and the NBA Finals, you think you might be turning a corner as far as people coming back to Sammy C's?
Well, Ed, we're not out of the woods yet. We're making some progress. We're not out of the woods, and I think the business is getting better. But where the problem is where most places that are dealing in hospitality, not just in Gallup but Albuquerque and statewide, I think you hear a resonating notion that business is good. We just don't have enough staff to take care of everybody, and we have that same problem at our place. Sometimes we're running between 40 and 50% of our staff. And when you have a full weekend, for example, our place holds about 400 people at Sammy's when it's full capacity. And because of the lack of staff that we had or did not have, we utilized the pub, the Hall of Champions, and could not open up the event rooms, which was seating for 150 people. We could not open up the rooms because we just didn't have the staff to take care of them. And the last thing we want to do is open up and not be able to take care of the customer base properly. And so I think every hospitality entity in the state is facing this, Ed. And it's just unfortunate, but hopefully things will come around once unemployment stops and some of the money stops, some of the gravy train stops. Once that stops, I think things will get back into some sort of normality.
It must be good, though. We had an event here in Albuquerque on Sunday, the alumni basketball game between former Lobos, facing off against each other. And it was the first time we saw a crowd in the pit for a very long time, maybe over a year. So it was good to see that. And I think things are returning to somewhat of normalcy, but you've got a little caution flag there because you're saying it's not quite there yet.
Yeah, it's not quite there yet. There's still a sense of timidness of people really going out, I think. There's a lot of people that are still wearing masks here. And, of course, the governor lifted that restriction and protocol the first part of July. But there's still an element of people that are real timid about them doing anything and also getting their kids to do anything. We had a big bull riding event in Gallup. This is a perennial event that takes place here. It's been 25 plus years. It's called Wild Thing. And this past weekend, they had their event. That was the first major event in Gallup since the pandemic hit. And we have another one this weekend with Mud Bog and Arena Cross over at Red Rock Park with Kicker Arena Cross this weekend. But last weekend my wife and I and my daughter came over from UNM and my sister-in-law and one of the judges from town here. We all got in the car, went out on Saturday night and watched it. It's about 4,500 people in the crowd. 4,500, that's a lot of people. And but just visiting with the people around us, we asked them, how does it feel to be out? Oh my gosh, we were just so anxious to just get out of the house and do things. So on one hand, you've got that openness. On the other hand, you still have a sense of timidness of people not wanting to do much. And I went to the Miyamura practice this morning, and they had a camp for the youth of the community for football, Coach Reeves, and talked with them. And a lot of parents were there, and still inquiring about signing up their kids for youth football. So there's some that are not wanting to let their kids play this year, but then there's some that are now starting to open up and getting people more involved and getting active again, if you would.
Okay, so that's important to note, Sammy. I think in some cases, COVID hit reservations hard, right? Reservations were hit hard. So there's still some caution there, and it's important that we note that. We don't live out in that part, and we don't cover games sometimes out there. Me and Murrock plays here, but it's kind of important to note that there is still a little bit of caution out there by where you live, because if some people are still thinking we're not going to let our kids play, there's that sense of maybe just not quite yet.
Well, one of the unfortunate things that happened in the onset of the pandemic, Ed, was Gallup went through what they call a lockdown, which was really an unfortunate thing, just not fortunate to have. And that, you hear little rumblings around town and all that. Some people labeled it as a native problem. It's not a native problem. This affected everybody. And I really take offense when people start talking about the native people. The native people is the lifeblood of our community. The native people is the lifeblood of the Four Corners. And when people start talking that way, I really kind of cringe a little bit. But the lockdown was really unnecessary here. I think it was a little bit more of creating more of a dramatic scene in the community, which was really unfortunate back then. Kudos to President Nez and Vice President Lizer of the Navajo Nation. They managed this process pretty well from their end as leaders of their Navajo country. They did a great job in managing this, and they set out their protocols. They adhered to it. They really went a little bit up and beyond, which I thought was great. And it shows a lot of the resiliency of the Navajo people, and even the Zuni people with Governor Pantea and Zuni. The same thing. They managed this time, very, very difficult time, in a great way. And I'm grateful to them, and the people are grateful to them. And even that, everybody's lost people, no matter what culture, during this pandemic. But they did a great job. And so I think sometimes, it was on CNN, it was on several of the news channels that we were experiencing this, and a lot of people were afraid to stay here. And I think that was way up and beyond what was really going on here. I know we had problems, but everybody had a problem. And the resiliency of the leaders of the Navajo Nation and the Zuni people, they did a great job at managing their people through this whole process, governing their people.
Sammy, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have some pictures to show of Sammy C's Rockin' Sports Pub and Grill when we come back on the sports desk after these messages.
Here's a 1-2. That's lifted well hit into the gap. This might clear the bases. It's going to bounce off the wall, and it will clear the bases. A bases clearing double off the bat of Nico Barella. Got the glove on it. Squeezes for a second. That's tapped on the ground. Might be academic. They'll flip it to first in time for the double play ball. Huge lead. There's the pitch. It's low. Runner going on a delayed steal, and he's going to be out at second. One, two. The runner moving. It's pulled down the line. This might be trouble, and it's a fair ball. Sandoval coming around. Coach Pineda going to send him to the plate. Here comes the tying run, and he scores. Sandoval. The throw gets away. Cooper will go to second base, and we're all tied at 6 as Sandoval scampers in.
Hit so far. That ball is driven deep to right center field, and it's gone. Second home run of the inning for the Cougars. They've got 5 runs in, and Cibola has come roaring back here at the top of the 3rd inning. 2-run home run for Jalen Montez.
Long look in. There's a pitch. That's in the air. In shallow right. Very aggressive is Gerard Pineda. We'll have a play at the plate. Oh, what a hose in right. The ball was waiting for him as he came home, and he was dead to rights.
2-2, nobody out. 2 runs in. There's the pitch, and that's up the middle. No, right to Francois. Back to second for a double play. That's a good play by Francois. 0-1 to Araceli Morales. There's the pitch. Morales swings, hits a Vela. What a catch by Vela in right field. Vela coming to her, running to her left and diving.
This one swing, it's going to go straight. Let's see if it falls, and it looks like the catch was made, and indeed it was for the third out. Sprawling was Kayla Reed for the third out. What a play. Garcia prepares, deals, and she swings it. This one looks ding dong doink. Yabba dabba doo. Grand slam by Mia Flores. Four ribbies for Mia as she just unleashed on that softball.
Live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. Our very special guest today is legendary broadcaster Sammy Chioda, Sammy C, also the owner of Sammy C's Rockin' Sports Pub and Grill in Gallup. And Sammy, I'll tell you one thing, we're gonna go to some pictures here. Everybody I've talked to, a legendary broadcaster, but a legendary person, man. And again, it's just our honor to have you on. Alden, our producer Alden Iwani is gonna show some pictures that you were kind enough to show of Sammy C's Pub and Grill. Alden, if you will.
Great.
And you tell us what we're looking at here.
Sure. Be glad to.
There are just some awesome pictures here. Really, the pictures of your memorabilia is just unbelievable.
Yeah, we're really proud of this place. Over 7,000 autographs displayed, and everything from jerseys to guitars to helmets, baseballs, footballs. A lot of.
There's you and Henry T right there. I don't know if you can see it.
I can't see it from this end, but let me try to go to the screen here just a sec. Let me just see if I don't want to lose you here.
Anyway, yeah, it's you and Henry.
I can see it right now. There we go. Okay. Henry T called me up a few weeks ago and said, "Hey, I been wanting to come by your place, and I'm going to come over. Let's have lunch." I says, "Well, when do you want to come over?" He says, "I'll be there in 2 hours." So he came over, and we had a blast that afternoon, and we took a picture together there. Got him. We have a floor in our area that we have whenever the sports and entertainment dignitaries come in, Ed, we invite them to sign the floor, and we have a lot of people on that floor, and we invited Henry to do so, and then we posted a bit with him on Facebook on our website or on our Facebook page. And they got a lot of great feedback for Henry, and a lot of people love this guy for what he's done.
Well, we got some more pictures to look at, but now that you bring up Henry T, you know, I asked him about you, and there's another picture of you right there broadcasting the game. But, you know, Henry T, his quote about you, pound for pound, he's New Mexico's best. No one is more dedicated than Sammy C. Honesty, integrity, this guy's top notch. You can't meet a better human being. A quote from the Hall of Famer, which you'll be a part of. Henry T was inducted in 2018, I believe, and you're going to be in the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. So there's some more pictures, Sammy. See, I don't know if you can look at them there.
That's my daughter and I were at the state cross country meet at Albuquerque Academy this past spring. I've done 35 of these state cross country meets, and we cover every team, every classification in the state. But my daughter's a freshman at UNM. She came over and gave Dad a helping hand that day. I had a couple spotters out on the course, but that was up in the booth. In fact, right next to ProView, right next to ProView. I went out and got the guys coffee that day. Went out and got it from Starbucks. This is George Lynch. He is one of the musicians from the group Dokken, and he came by our place. He's a guitarist on the group, and we had a blast one night with George coming into town at our place. And it's fun. It's amazing when people hear it. Anthony Miller, that's a picture of Anthony. Anthony played for the Denver Broncos during the years with John Elway, and also had a short stint with your Dallas Cowboys there.
Yes, I remember.
And also played with the San Diego Chargers. But he came in. That's a picture in the background of what we call our Hall of Champions. There's a picture of the receiver, Anthony Miller. I've always liked him as a receiver. He's terrific guy.
Really good with Denver. Not so good with Dallas, but good with Denver.
Yeah, this is we have on Wednesday nights we have what we call a Sammy C's Club, Cigar Club, and this is a group. They have their own shirts, and they come in, and sometimes we have 20, sometimes we have 8, sometimes we have 3, sometimes we have 15. But they have a cigar night in our patio on Wednesday nights downtown at Sammy C's. There's some guys from the Washington Football Club at that time, the Redskins. To my left is Mark Mosley, a terrific kicker for the Washington Redskins back in the day. And to my right, we have Ricky Irvins, and who was then a receiver for the Skins. And then we also had Raven Caldwell. My mistake. Raven Caldwell came in as well with them. But they came in one night for dinner. Yeah, Bob Brown from ESPN Radio came up and did a remote from our place one night a while back. Him and Andres there, you see their picture. Bob is a great guy, very talented, and Andres, I really love this guy. They're just great people, and really enjoyed having them over at Sammy's. These are members of the Arizona Cardinals, and one of the guys that's in that group is Michael Bankston. Michael was one of the very first players or first personalities to sign our floor at Sammy's when we opened up in 2006. And this was about a year ago. He brought a whole entourage in for dinner one night. They were coming through, and they came in and had dinner with us at Sammy's, and we had a blast with them. There's Ed Nunez, the athletic director from the University of New Mexico, and a fantastic coach, Jeremy Fishbein, who's done a lot for soccer in our state of New Mexico through the University of New Mexico. They came into Gallup for a fundraiser one night that I helped coordinate, and we presented a check to the Lobo athletic program, if I'm not mistaken, around $6,000 that night for coming up and being a part of our event. This is we were selected as one of CNN Go's 101 best sports bars a few years back, independently done, Ed. We didn't even know that we had people coming by and evaluating our place, but it was the only one in New Mexico that they honored out of 101 sports bars. Best Things New Mexico was also another one that selected Sammy C's as a place to be as you travel around the land of enchantment, and we're grateful for that. That's their logo. This is the front of our place facing Cole Avenue. We're right in downtown Gallup. We took over the old J.C. Penney building that was built in 1953. It's a fortress. It's all concrete. But it broke it up in 3 different sections. The hall in the middle. There's Jeremy Fishbein speaking in the event room. Jeremy's just there on the right side with a great crowd of people, Lobo alums, Lobo supporters, and just Lobo fans in general. This is part of our pub area, and this is just a regular, normal business day with folks coming in. You can see a lot of the memorabilia there. This is also a gathering that we had in our event room that kind of gives you an idea that we have 3 different areas. We got the Hall of Champions, we've got the event room, and we also have the pub. Here's another view from the north side of the pub, and this is facing southward. Normal day there. We have entertainment at our place. We haven't had it here recently because of the pandemic, and so when we reconvene, we do have a staged area here in Mimi's Cabaret, named after my wife Marie, and we have bands, we have DJs and stuff like that on weekends. This is preparing for Sunday football. We do have the NFL Sunday ticket, and we have 31 flat screens in the place, and this is the bar head right here where we have it, and you can also see how lively and bright the place is. It's just so fun to be in there. We have a state-of-the-art pool room. We have pool tournaments on weekends, and that started up here a couple of Fridays ago, so we're excited. 3 state-of-the-art pool tables. This is the patio where you saw the Cigar Club members a little while ago when I showed you the picture of the guys that come in on Wednesday nights. This is one of the patios, and this was heavily used during the time. These are Gala Bricks. Gallup used to have a couple of brick plants back in the 20s, and the families, these things kind of went out of business. They exploded back then. We didn't have all the safety precautions, but these are bricks that came out of there about 100 years old, and we created like 7 archways at Sammy C's with these Gallup bricks. It's a touch of Gallup. There's one of our display cases, our showcases, with several deals. Here's another view from the pub. Ed Hockley, guns from the NFL.
Oh yeah.
About 2 weeks, 3 weeks before he retired from the game, he came by Sammy's, signed our floor. There's a picture of him there. Great guy. Just love Ed. Ed is just an amazing individual to be around. Wade Phillips was there just before the pandemic hit in 2020. And this is Wade Phillips right here, who coached with the Rams, the Broncos, and also coached with the Dallas Cowboys, amongst other teams. This is Don Petronovich. He is a legend in coaching in the state of Arizona. Don is one of the winningest coaches in girls basketball in the state of Arizona, and he's a Hall of Famer in Arizona, and he's retired now. This, just taking a step back, this is the 50th anniversary Super Bowl ring for the Denver Broncos that Wade Phillips was wearing when he came into Sammy C's. Mean Joe Green on the left side, and my dear friend Cedric Hardman on the right side. They were both classmates at North Texas State with the Green, the Mean Green. Joe and Cedric have been a part of it. We lost Cedric here a couple of years ago to cancer, but Joe Green and Cedric have been by Sammy's. Just great to have both of those guys with us. And to this day, Cedric still has the record with a gold rush on most sacks for the San Francisco 49ers. This is something fun that we do during UFC night. We have, on occasion, we'll have girls come in between rounds, they'll walk around the room with round 1, round 2, round 3, and 4 and 5, depending on how many rounds they go. But this is something cool that we've had, and UFC's love that. Thanks to our dear friend Gary Herron from Albuquerque. He wrote an article that was accepted by the Sports Collectors Digest in May of 2020. And Sammy C's was featured with a nice spread in that Sports Collectors Digest for all you collectors out there. This is a jersey that we obtained from the Phoenix Suns, Devin Booker. This is the night that he scored 70-plus points.
Wow.
For the Phoenix Suns. And it's also noted on that number 1 with his signature that it was a 70-plus jersey, 70-point jersey. Patrick Mahomes, we acquired this about a year ago. Patrick Mahomes, great story about his uncle. I was on the, I'm the chairman of the board for Blue Cross Blue Shield in New Mexico, the committee there. And his uncle was part of the Texas group, and we would always spend time together whenever we traveled. And I'll never forget when Patrick was coming into the league, Mr. Mahomes would look up to me and said, and we parted ways because he was retiring. He says, "You keep an eye on my nephew. He's going to do great things in the NFL," and he sure has.
Boy, that was an understatement.
Yeah, Barry Sanders, of course, just a prolific running back, great running back in the NFL. Ended his tenure with the NFL a little bit too soon. I think he could have done a lot more, but a lot of things got in the way. Larry Bird, signed by Larry. Great era of basketball, huh? With Larry Bird and Magic Johnson,
Larry,
and Jordan and all those guys.
Incredible.
Yeah, Steph Curry with the Golden State Warriors. We picked up a Klay Thompson from the Warriors here a while back too. We've added that up in one of our rooms. Steph Curry's a great athlete. Lennox Lewis, boxing champion in the heavyweights. Lennox signed the trunks for us at one time in Vegas, and we put a nice display of his. We have a great boxing section at Sammy C's with a lot of history in it. Even a signature from the late Rocky Marciano, believe it or not. This is one of our shirts that we have available at Sammy C's that we have on display, and also a lot of tourists pick up these shirts at Sammy's, front and back. It's that. This is part of the rock stuff. We got this signed by the group KISS in Las Vegas, Nevada. They were doing a big event there, and got the opportunity. I was able to get in to get signatures, so I was really excited about that.
Oh, yeah. You kidding me?
Yeah, Pete Rose has signed a bunch of stuff for Sammy C's. He signed this for us. This was the This was the center page of the sports section of the Cincinnati Enquirer a few years back, and we were able to secure that. And one thing neat about Pete Rose, Rogers Hornsby's daughter, still had or sent a Western Union telegram to Pete Rose the night he broke the record against the San Diego Padres in baseball for the most hits. And it was a great, and she quoted her father along that whole Western Union telegram. And Pete gave me that telegram, and it's on display at my house. And just,
oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really pretty cool. Phil Esposito, of course, a great hockey player. So we've got all sports covered there. We've got hockey. We even have surfing in the place. Surfers. Dan Marino. That was a nice jersey. Marino's a great quarterback. Lynn Swann. We have a lot of Steeler fans come to our place. We have a lot of Pittsburgh Steeler stuff. This is a Lynn Swann. Of course, we've had Roy Jarella, my dear friend from Las Cruces. We've had Terry Bradshaw. Rocky Blyer's been by our place. A lot of those guys have been through. Alex Bregman, when he played for the world tournament with the USA team, that was a jersey that was signed for us. Michael Jordan, love this one. We have a nice warm-up jacket, Ed, that we got. We went to the Bulls, Detroit Pistons game at the old Chicago Stadium in the playoffs in 1988. And I was blessed to get a warm-up jacket from the Chicago Bulls. Jordan and Scottie Pippen both signed that for us, and we have it on display at Sammy's. I should have sent you that picture. We got this right after the World Series this year with Corey Seager from the Dodgers. This is a great picture. This is the poster that's on display right by our stage area. The picture there with the Nick and Bobby Erkeline, that was a picture of the two of them back in the day when they had the Woodstock concert. And then down the bottom right side are actual 3 tickets from that 3-day event. But the picture was signed by Nick and Bobby Erkeline, and they ended up getting married. And they've been married for over 50 years. It's a great little story about Woodstock. Yeah, there's our Dallas Cowboys section there. We have a great section. Of course, we have Emmitt Smith there, Tony Dorsett, TD, Don Perkins, number 43 at the very top. And we have a lot of great stuff. Bob Barnett's picture is right to the right of me there. He's the one that got me in the business. And then here's Coach Jackson from Jackson Gym in Albuquerque, big UFC headquarters in the Duke City. Coach Jackson sported our T-shirt in his gym one day, and we were just excited to have that picture. This is the entryway when you walk into Sammy's, going right into the Hall of Champions. To the right of that would be the event rooms, and to the left of that will be our pub area. There you go.
Sammy Chioda, I'll tell you what, we needed 2 hours. We did, but we only had half an hour. But I'll tell you what, thank you so much for giving us a tour and visit Sammy C's Rockin' Sports Pub and Grill. You've done so much for the city of Gallup, but you're a legendary broadcaster, no question, but a legendary person. We thank you so much for joining us on the Sports Desk today.
Well, Ed, I appreciate it very much. You're so great what you do. And, I've always preached preparation. And that's one thing. One of your big plus characteristics that you always do your homework before you do the interviews. And I'm really grateful to you, and keep up a great career in broadcasting and sportscasting and all that you do for our state, and continued success to you and all you do, brother.
Sammy C, we'll see you soon. I promise you. I'm going to go visit. I have to. I can't believe I haven't been there yet. For producer Alden Iwani, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you in 2 weeks on the Sports.